All right. Well, I hope everyone is well fed and energized. Some might be sleepy too. Okay, so I have a brilliant panel with me here. I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Mayank Choudhary. I cover fashion, pop culture, lifestyle for NDTV, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you to CEF. And let me start introducing the panel because I have little notes on all of them. Rina Dhaka, of course, a renowned fashion designer and a household name when it comes to reinterpreting traditions for the modern Indian wearer. And I won't be wrong if I say, Rina, and forgive me, you were one of the first batches of the fashion designers that came up in India. We have Mr. Manik Jain, partner at the ISVARI Jalandhar Jewelry House, known for the immaculate craftsmanship when it comes to fine Indian jewelry. Ashna Vashwani, celebrity fashion designer who's made her mark by mixing the old world charm and the new in a fun, quirky, and creating that perfect street chic look. We have the very colorful and campy Mr. Siddhartha Bansal, a designer. His maximalist rich pieces lights up the wearer. I mean, you should just visit his store one day. It'll make you happy. We have Mr. Anshul Garg, MD of Mohan Group of Companies. He's an industrialist, a visionary, a philanthropist, and a champion of the Indian art, craft, and luxury sector. Thank you all for being here. Rina, I'll start off with you. You have been in this game for long, and you started off very early, and I wanted to ask, when you're designing a collection now, when you're designing a piece, when you're sitting down with that sketch pad and pen, and you look at the landscape of Indian heritage, there has been a major shift. As a designer, what's your take on it?
Oh, I have to use your mic? Okay, sorry. Thank you for inviting me here, Creative Economic Forum at this lovely venue. Thank you, Mayank, for your question. Lots has changed, and that story needs to be told, but it's a very long story. It didn't happen overnight. As you know, that we came about in an age with no social media. In fact, too much of media and social media almost was looked down upon or frowned upon, because fashion was truly about being quiet, and that was called luxury, and not wearing your labels out. So yes, it's reversed. As you know, labels are worn on the reverse, and without it, there is no branding anymore. And everything is about being out there in the eyes of the phone, in the eyes of the people, and social media is right now a thriving profession. And in the good old days, we did have television. I mean, I literally feel that I was there in between that bridge between the Doordarshan era to when the first TV studios came out in India. And I know that Rajat had a little studio in Amrit Nagar, where late Rohit Bal also had a factory. And we used to be always scourging that area because there used to be this one factory which used to make us our acrylic breastplates and designs like that, which today girls are wearing commonly. At that point, they were quite the innovation, and only the models wore it.
So clearly, social media has been a game changer, and technology has been a game changer. Siddharth, to you. You know, India is a land of diverse cultures and heritage. Take me back to your roots. How has your culture or community or your heritage inspired you as a designer now?
First of all, thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Mayank, for your questions. So I've been born and brought up in Old Delhi. So, I mean, I've seen, again, the cultural shift now. You don't see, I mean, the entire old families have moved out of from Old Delhi. So I've seen those, Havelis, how they've been modernized, but I've also seen how they've been crafted. Like my entire, my grandfather, my father, grandfather, everyone been living there. So we've seen that kind of transition. So we've been to those temples, we've been to those, all the, archaeological
Sites.
sites. And I think that's where the entire art and architecture, which I use in my designs, has come from there.
Interesting. So, Old Delhi charm is still very much present, right? Wonderful. Ashna, now to you. Ashna, as Rina said, there has been a massive boom with the rise of social media. And everybody today has a voice, no matter what part of world you come from. You could make a fashion statement. The rise of Insta models, won't be wrong, Rina, right? There was a time where you have to be of a certain height, you have to look a certain way, and designers are very close to the models. Today, you can point your smartphone, and if you know how to take a good selfie, you could be a model, and then scouted by a designer. We live in a whole different time. Tell me, as a fashion designer who's dressing the modern generations, what is your observation when it comes to the interest or the likability of the younger generation towards our centuries-old Indian traditions and heritage?
Hello. Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here at Creative Economic Forum and with all creative minds creating their own narration, shaping a story of the cultural heritage. So actually, it's very exciting that now everyone is aware of what is going on, what is the fashion, what is the trend, and there is a lot of awareness. Along with awareness, I feel there is a lot of acceptance also. Because earlier, there was a lot of rigidity in the accepting the different kinds of fashion trends. We were very restrictive in our fashion sense. But now, because of social media, people have accepted all different kinds of trends and all different kinds of shapes and bodies and types. It's not only limited to particular body. So an influencer can be a short-heighted influencer or not of a perfect shape and body, and that's a perfect example. Fashion is not made for only who is 34, 24, 34. It's for everyone, right? And that's a way, fashion is a way of expressing yourself. And that expression is for everyone, not for a model. So I think it's beautiful, and social media has helped it a lot. And the cultural, I think the modern generation is accepting the culture in a beautiful way, but they're reinventing it in their own way. Like if you see, they will trim this heirloom necklace with a streetwear, or they'll wear an embroidered jacket or something with denims. So they're creating their own identity. They're mixing and matching and creating their own look. So it's like a reinvention of fashion in their own sense. So you have to just package it right so that they understand it and relate to it. And the culture is not lost at all. I mean, the culture is still there, but they're making it in their own way. They're using it and designing it in their own way.
Wonderful. So it's all about packaging, which is correct. Like, we all very, very rightly said, we take something from the past, we reinvent it, and we interpret it in our own way. And as designers, of course, all of you here are very brilliantly doing that. Manik, now to you. We Indians love decorating ourselves with jewelry. We are quite blingy people, and especially here in Delhi. Sorry, not sorry. When you are catering as a jewelry designer, as a jewelry partner of a jewelry brand, when you're catering to an audience like us, what aspects of our Indian heritage, the past, the history, do you take in when you're putting that piece of fine Indian jewelry together?
Thank you, Mayank, and thank you, Creative Economic Forum, for having me. And see, from a jewelry perspective, the bling is always there. The gold is always shining brighter and brighter day by day. And if we go back to our roots, our culture, jewelry is one part which we been seeing forever, because if you see a god's idol, jewelry has always been there. If you see the Nawabs, the Rajas, the Maharajas, the Maharanis, jewelry has always been an essential part of their attire. And in today's modern world, where everything is open to the whole world, to recreate those bridges between the old heritage, culture, art forms of India to the world It's been a challenging, but you know, like Ashna said, it's been a bridge between the two worlds. The social media has been a bridge between two worlds, and you can create anything, and people will style it in their own way today. So a modern woman or a modern man can style jewelry, a really old heritage piece, into a new modern world jewel. So I think it's a combination of the both worlds we've been experiencing together today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank God you said man too, modern man. I love jewelry. Anshul, now to you. As someone who's deeply invested in multiple businesses, and industries, and catering to a large audience like India, how do you keep the Indian heritage alive, A? And B, what measures can other businesses take to make sure that the heritage skills and craft communities of India are not just reviving or alive, but they're thriving?
Firstly, thank you for putting up that two beautiful questions to me. I can feel a lot of fashion on the panel right now, and it's a good smell.
It's bound to be.
Yeah, it's a good smell. And thank you for filling up the auditorium as well. And I'm very thankful for Creative Economic Forum, Ms. Supriya Suri. I don't know if she is here or not, for bringing this impactful awareness about the arts and culture, because this is very important. So coming back to the question, I would say, I don't belong to a creative industry as much. I am not a fashion designer or something. I belong to a steel industry. But as an industrialist and as a philanthropist, what I'm seeing that the philanthropy is missing in the arts and culture right now. Because once you bring the philanthropy in arts and culture, you have more power, you have more monetization, you have more funds to the people through NGOs or anyone who is in the need to go like global. You talk about narratives, you talk about anything. At the end, it's all about the money, right? So once you have that, you can monetize and do that things. Then secondly, I think the authenticity, the modern appeal, it should blend, no matter it's a jewelry, no matter it's the designs. Until unless we empower the artisans, which we have, which are the backbone of the industry, we should bring them in front, we should empower them, and we should take them globally so that our Indian designers now look at the Sabyasachi, Fab India, Anita Dongreji, and Raymond, they all have gone overseas, and they are doing so beautiful over there. How? So, but they are made in India. So we built in India, we'll speak in India, we are local, as what Mr. PM Narendra Modi ji is speaking all about. So until unless our arts and culture have the monetary backup and anything which is there, we can definitely do and boost our GDP and the jobs, not only internationally, but globally and in the domestic market. Because if you see the artisans which are sitting in the small villages, they have all the knowledge, they have all the beautiful hands, they know the crafting and everything. Who built the Taj Mahal? It's those, but no matter the hands were cut, but the Akbar knows that their creativity is there. So now I appeal all humbly with folded supplication to all the designers in India to come forward, take the help of philanthropists and put some money with them through the NGOs, and we create a beautiful world, not only for India, but globally.
Wonderful.
I feel that.
Of course. Rina, now, I know you're a very spiritual person. And I remember we had even a conversation about how you were, how spirituality is a very big part of your life. And a place like India, where we have so much diversity when it comes to spirituality. We have people and faith and belief. As a fashion designer, what does spirituality bring to your table? Has it given you a new perspective to look at fashion? Has it brought more discipline, or what is it?
Thank you. So I assume I'm addressing a room of young students. So when I was young, spirituality was not what I thought of. I thought it was very uncool, and I didn't believe in any kind of religion. And I thought we were, as Indians, overly, zealous about our religious dogma and beliefs. But over time, as you know, life doesn't spare any of us. And when we're running in this fast-paced world, you are unable to cope, but you try. And at that point, when I found, I chant, I practiced Buddhism. And as a result of it, I learned to absorb and understand all the other religions as well. Till I didn't chant, I didn't have patience or the understanding or the capacity to know how it directly affects every bit of your life. It helps you, of course, perform better at work. You get definitely the discipline. You also cease to do a lot of your comparisons because each one of us is unique. We can't try to all be, competing with each other. But to find your own self, you need to look, as they say, look within. And what is look within? It is really about observing your own mind and to learn to slow down that breath. So in my eyes, yes, if one can, even as young students, absorb the qualities which will help you meditate, can be yoga, can be any kind of faith you feel which helps you look inward. So a lot of them now use positive slogans to themselves, manifestations as they call it, affirmations. But what is all that? Affirmations. So when Buddhism, what happens is you just kind of, when you chant, it's a meditation, you at some point will forget for a fraction of a second your own point of view. And in that review of your point of view, you kind of find a solution to your problems because everything is within us. And I would say for me, it also helps balance you on what they call as a middle path. You reduce your ambition, but to a right way. You reduce your greed to a way where you have health. You enjoy the better things in life. And I'm not pushing it on anyone, but that's how I found my calling.
Wonderful. You said that, it has, it's about calling, as you said, and it came to you when it has to come to you. And we are amidst of a lot of young people here. What do you think can they, or even me, do to bring that little bit of faith or positivity into everyday lives?
I think most important for all of us is to get up and tell ourselves we, as we are perfect, which none of us do. We are so full of slander and criticism for our own self that we find it very hard to like our own selves. So to learn to appreciate yourself, to have small, simple gratitudes. And for students, yes, they have to stop comparing themselves to each other because each one will have their unique abilities. I sometimes judge college work. So I can tell without knowing the students or the story of the class, that these guys stood together because the work is so similar. And it's easy to get affected. And with social media, this is one such terrible downside. It hurts your creativity. But each one of us is unique. And we don't all have to be famous. We don't all have to be rich. We just have to be us. And sometimes to be just content with what we are good at and to practice that and to make ourselves better and better at that, be it relationships, be it your craft, is really what we all need to aspire to.
Wonderful. That's definitely something to think about. Don't compare yourself. That is issued in public interest. Siddhartha, as I said, our Indian heritage is quite colorful. We are we love celebrating, whether be it festivals or faith or belief. We love celebrating and, we are very joyous people by our nature. In fact, your clothing, which is very colorful, there is almost this notion of more is more, less is more, which is quite fun and has its own audience. Do you think that this aspect of India, that we are very celebratory people, influences your creativity when you're catering to a commercial market like India?
Yes, of course. Like I said, that, I've been born and brought up in Old Delhi, and I've witnessed that, culture, not like my entire space where I've spent my childhood has been so decorated. There's so many jharokhas, there's veranda, and there's so many arches, pillars, everything is decorated. It's not just brick and walls. Every corner is so decorated. Wherever we go, it's so decorated. So that has influenced, and that has made me realize that why we are like that, as Indians, as people. And if I take us back, we've been a rich, not culturally, but a rich nation as well. We've been into exporting textiles, spices, and a lot of things, and that's what India has got a lot of money, and that's why we started decorating everything. We started investing in decorating everything with colors, with details and things like that. And that has made me, while I was growing up, doing my own research and things like that, it has definitely influenced, it has made me realize that how interesting we are as people, and how we enjoy our colors and culture, and that's what made me, do what I do.
Oh, wonderful, absolutely. And Ashna, we, as Siddhartha said, that there is that influence that comes from our background, our heritage, in whatever work we do, and it's very evident in his designs. When it comes to your design aesthetic, as a creative individual, what steps do you take, or what goes in your mind when you're thinking, okay, I have to cater to, let's say, somebody in the early 30s, earning well enough to cater to them, while also keeping that likability in the tradition and heritage alive? On that mood board, what does it look like, the process?
So see, for me, heritage is an emotion crafted with embroidery. And for me, heritage is not just a embroidery or a textile. For me, heritage is much more than that. For me, it's a heartbeat, it's a history, it's a emotion together. And it's a moment, it's a rhythm, and it's also the memory and the craftsmanship. So for example, if I'm doing, I do a lot of gotapatti and mirror work, or I work a lot with miniature artists from Jaipur. So I'm not rewriting the past. I'm trying to have a continuous conversation between our ancestors and the modern world. So it's always a mix. So even it's whenever I take all my collection, like for example, my latest collection is Devi Drape, which is inspired from the goddess of the south. It has motives of Balaji and the Devi, and it's empowering. It's for women empowerment. Even what I'm wearing is from that collection. So I have used fabrics like khadi and denim. So khadi is very culturally
significant. Yes. It's called
India.
the fabric of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we use kota doria, which is from Rajasthan, and then denim, which has a universal appeal. So we mix and match a lot of these fabrics together. So for me, it's always about the story behind the garment. It's about the storytelling. And I always look at the individual, and then because if they can relate to that story, then it makes more sense. It's not just setting a trend or making something like that, but there has to be story behind the garment that the person has to understand. So then only it's more relatable for that person to buy that garment, if they can relate to the story behind it.
Right. Manik, before I go to you, Rina, there's this questions for you. There's a lot of, especially now, and as fashion journalists and as creative individuals, a lot of our work is also observing what is happening. Yeah. In the last few years, in the recent time, we've seen a lot of attention on India, whether it's that whole Prada Kolhapuri chapter, or whether it was LV doing a snakes and ladder and literally having A.R. Rahman music. There's a lot of, India has been in the news recently a lot. Of course, social media is to be credited for it because news travels faster. And craft is the center of it all. As a fashion designer...
Is our session over?
I don't know. Okay, let's continue. Ignore that. As a fashion designer, tell me, how important, because you worked with artisans for long, and even at this LACME, I mean, of course, I couldn't attend, but when I saw the show, images coming out, and it's going everywhere, we saw you reimagining Indian crafts in, again, a fantastically new way. As a designer, what steps can you take to make sure that the craft industry is alive?
So I have to be connecting to you because you said Taj Mahal and you said my show and reimagining. So did you know that I went to the Taj Mahal, I took a picture of a motif on the side, not the obvious ones in the books, and we recreated that in wood. And we played it on the bodice itself as a motif, three-dimensional and literal. So we did do 3 elements of it, but that came because, yeah, it was in our show. Exact booty of the Taj Mahal. And when you said international, you said money. Both things very right. Because if you see New York today, Bergdorf Goodman, you get in the elevator, your heart is full of pride because there's Sabasati posters everywhere. And whatever he has done a phenomenal job. But he couldn't have done it without tons of money. So when you as Indians go abroad, bags are full, they're going to run up to you. Trust me, the craftsmen will also get a notice. And you will get the craft there. But on their own dint and merit, yes, we have had our moments under the sun. Between India, between Turkey, Pakistan, China, we are the greatest manufacturers of at least apparel in the world. We have been always providing them the clothes. We have always been making them the ideas, even if the designer came from Italy, Europe, anywhere, or any school of fashion, they would look at our work of the sample room, on the streets, on the bazaars, put it together in the sample rooms of the factories, and then they will get a kind of a trend wave, and they go back. So whether it's a Balmain making it in Paris or in India, the trend can be ours, but it's a recurring thing. You have a brand like Isabelle Marant. She's all the time using India as an inspiration. She's always been fashionable. She's always done well. So you can keep your India story going. It's not going to
But do
go
you think
down.
in midst of this, does the artisan, that craftsperson, let's say someone sitting in Agra or in South or in Kashmir embroidered, are they getting that due credit?
No, you will get a credit under an umbrella. Like even when we did so many trips with all the ministers of textile for going to Varanasi and all that and opening their weaving centers. I don't know how many trips we've made between fashion councils, all the designers of India, media, everybody used to go. But the real story used to emerge on whispers that we only met the master weavers. They came to our rooms. The master weavers are the leaders. The real poor weaver is still on the other side of the river. He is still not in a way where he can help himself. And most of them do become guards or drivers or cooks, whatever they can get to survive. The crafts are getting lost.
Absolutely. Manik, tell me, because you deal with jewelry and you deal with gemstones and beautiful gemstones, how do we make sure that that weaver or let's say a person who's working in that jewelry industry, without them, as you said, the Sabyasachi, Bergdorf placement would not be possible. How can we make sure, whether you're a jewelry designer, a fashion designer, an accessory designer, how can we make sure they not only get the credit, but also get that portion of that Bergdorf Goodman check?
So it's a very, very big platform to say on because, see, it's not about Indian art and culture, it's about world art and culture when you go at that stage. And to credit a small artisan who is sitting somewhere in a tiny room surviving for his livings. Sometimes I visit many parts of the world to just have a look of the product, to feel the makings, the styling of the products in India, in overseas, and see the artisans who actually create those jewels and then create those jewels into memories for many people. Right. We need to do something as a society, as humans, to uplift them and put them in some kind of a recognition to those people in our industry, in our atelier, and to the world, how these people really do this hard work to get us on a success story.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anshul, again, what support, because it is, it is about making sure that everybody gets a slice of that pie in a fair manner. What support do you think you and others sitting here do we need from the system to make it happen?
From the system.
Right.
Firstly, it's to me, I'm very riot. Actually, if someone told me that you create a lot of riots, so I'll be very careful in stating anything about the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe the buzzer is always there.
It's okay.
So I would end in a different way because I will not touch the system. It goes to the government straightly.
No, when I say system, I don't necessarily mean the government. I also mean because we are part of
the
industry.
System.
Right, we are part of the
system.
Let's
take it towards the industry. So yes. I would say that any industry you have to keep your mind very, very calm. Firstly, because there is a lot of distractions which can freaking you out. Especially in the fashion industry, I go to a lot of fashion shows and all, and ma'am can very well correlate because there is a lot of distraction, and the new designers, they get distracted very easily. So social media, yes, and now the social media is turning into AI, then the AI will turn into something else, then something else. The technology will keep on changing. But our artisans, which have the generational knowledge, skilled manpower in their hands, they will not change, and no AI can change that. Nobody can replace the human touch. So India has a very strong, powerful advantage of having a human touch. Just imagine the Vimal Gutkawala showing on their bags and freaking on the Paris and the New York streets, and the advertisement coming up on the social media. So that's the kind of power the social media is showing. The Vimal bag is showing there. Now the Kolhapuri chappal, which we have said.
If they capitalize that, my God, imagine if they become $400 for that bag.
Forget about the $400, brother. Just see the 69,000 Prada brooch. What is it doing?
They're doing what they're doing.
Latest news. And the Cheyenne, which has come up to the Paris, and the ma'am can connect very well. So these are the very small pointers, but everything very well said that it comes from India. Everyone is watching India because right now India is going to be a global power by 2030. I must say it will definitely, under the kind of leadership it is going on. And the ministers and everybody, especially under the leadership of PM Modi, is working very, very hard to make it happen. Otherwise, the industry would have not grown from where it was and where it has reached. And why the international brands are coming to India? The reason is this only because we have a lot of potentials, and we Indians as a Bharati, we have a lot of power, we have a lot of brain, we have a lot of creativity. It is just the money which is not pulling us up. Because the people are keeping their hot pockets hot, they are not pulling out their pockets. If they pull out their pockets and give it to spread it like anything, I'm sure the measures which you're talking about, they will change very, very dramatically, and there will be a lot of good drama.
Interesting. Now, I don't want the third buzzer to go off. So last question.
Let's do it.
The last question, starting from there.
Okay.
We have been hearing this word again and again. It's thrown around a lot in different contexts and different meaning. Indian culture, Indian heritage. In a sentence or less, what is Indian culture or heritage to you?
To me, any kind of statement before I put up, I always say in my Hindi language, and I always remember Rajesh Khanna ji. And to all the young hearts sitting out here, my beautiful message in the end is, in Hindi only, please.
Go ahead.
दुनिया में रहना है तो काम करो प्यारे. दिन रात, something like that. Please, can you help me in that? करो प्यारे.
तो जीने नहीं देगी.
ये दुनिया वरना हमें जीने नहीं देगी, खाने नहीं देगी, पीने नहीं देगी.
Interesting. Okay, words to live by. Think about that.
Yeah.
Manik, now to you. Indian culture, heritage in a word. A few words.
No, I give you one word.
Perfect.
That's it. That's royalty.
Love that. Absolutely. Ashna, what about you?
For me, Indian culture heritage is emotion crafted in woven in craftsmanship.
Absolutely. Craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Rina, what about you?
Where there's peace and chaos.
They
We
both
have
have to-
chaos a lot.
We need more of peace. So start doing that affirmation, guys. Siddhartha, Indian culture.
I think Indian culture, I would say it's a library and the world is reading right now.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. What a beautiful note to end on. Thank you so much, guys. Lot to think about. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Means it's a good one.
Thank you for hearing. Lovely hearing you all.
And thank you for moderating us so well. Beautiful, well-connected questions.